Hello.
Enough time for you, or you want me to call you back?
This is a good time. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Okay. What's on your mind this evening?
What's on my mind? Georgia politics.
Yes.
Georgia politics. Politics is always on my mind, and how our elected officials treat our constituents, and especially in Quitman City, the city of. A friend of mine told me that you guys have a new mayor there.
Mm-hmm.
And so elated because he is an African American, a young African American that could have been my son. He's between the ages of my two daughters. I have a daughter 41.
I think what got your attention was the Mayor Brown, James Brown in Quitman. And you say that you was concerned because you don't think he was being treated right. What did you do to try to correct the problem that you allegedly saw in Quitman, Georgia?
You're absolutely right. I went to the Quitman Free Press. I did not find any information about him being elected in November, December, or him being sworn in January. So what I did, I immediately called up to the city hall to find his. Well, I went online first to see if I can find any information. Found absolutely nothing, except that he was a sitting councilman, and knowing that he went from councilman to mayor, I didn't find that he was the newly elected mayor. I found the old mayor, on the website. So I called to speak to the clerk, and she wasn't in. She was out to lunch, and I asked them, how long does it take for them to change their information? Because if he was elected in November, was sworn in the first week of January, and I asked the lady that answered the phone, she could have been the receptionist, I said, what's the problem? She said, well, he was just sworn in the 1st of January. I said, well, what's the date? She said, the 17th. I said, Jesus, God created the earth in 7 days. Why is it taking so long to change the website? It shouldn't take that long. She said, well, let you talk to the clerk. I'm going to give you her, her voice message. So I talked to her. The email, I left word to the voice message. Then I called back, talked to the lady again, and asked for the city manager. He wasn't in, but he did call me back. And I asked him, what's the problem? Because it's unacceptable to have a newly elected mayor and not have his information on the website, but have the old mayor on the website. That's unacceptable. And I also heard through the grapevine he doesn't have an office. How can you have a mayor and doesn't have an office? Totally unacceptable. So by the time I got off and called my friend back and told her I talked to the city manager, they had took down the old mayor and put up the new mayor name, at least his name, because they should have pictures of him, but the Quitman Press didn't have no information. And as I was speaking to the city manager, I told him, I said, isn't the Quitman Free Press your legal paper? He said, yes, that's what we do all our advertisement in. I said, and how can they not give y'all public announcement in, free press to put y'all just had a newly elected mayor? They didn't even acknowledge that at all, and y'all paying them thousands of dollars. I said, that's unacceptable. Y'all should not accept that. So anyhow, by the time I got back to my friend, they taken down the old mayor, put up the new mayor, but they still don't have a picture. But I did tell the city manager I would like to have a visual. I would like to have pictures of the new mayor because I want to see him sitting behind his desk with the two flags, the United States flag and the Georgia flag behind him. That's very impressive for our up-and-coming young people. That helps them, that motivates them to do something like that, to do something great, in the next few years. Even now, it's nothing but to run for council at their school or at the college. So this is what really got my attention. So from there, I decided that I wanted to see what their charter says. So I went to their charter, couldn't find it online at all, so I went to a site that has every city in the United States Charter, and it's called the Muni Code. So I went there and I found Quitman's charter. And what caught my attention most of all was the eligibility of a voter. If you want to vote, I mean, I can't understand their eligibility of a person being able to vote in Quitman, and it's under Article 4, Section 29, and it's called the eligibility to vote in the city election, which is Quitman City. And just let me read it real quick.
Okay, okay.
It says, all persons qualified to vote for members of the General Assembly of this state and who shall have paid all taxes, which is sound like a poll tax to me, legally imposed and demanded by the authorities of the city and staff have resided in the city 6 months prior to the election at which they offer to vote and shall have registered as required by the registration law of said city shall be qualified to vote at any election provided for in this charter. What got me was, you shall have paid all your taxes. That's a poll tax.
Wow.
Went out 40 years ago.
Wow.
They still have it on the books.
Hmm.
So that mayor got his work, ahead of him, because that needs to be the first thing. He needs to put on the books to take that foolishness off.
Well,
they have the tax assessor book waiting there when you come to vote to see if you paid all your taxes.
wow.
That makes sense in 2014.
No, none. No.
So this is, they put a bullseye on themselves.
Well, let me.
Cleanest racket in the city, and they need to get on board.
Today is January 30th, and I'm in Waycross, Georgia. As you know, there's a lot of controversy been published in the Quitman Free Press concerning the new elect black mayor in Quitman, Georgia, about him having an office. I'm in Waycross, and I just went up to the second floor to Mayor's Bill Billups' office. And here in Waycross, Georgia, he has an office. So we're going to travel some more cities. We want to see if mayors actually have offices, or do they have to meet in the conference room and other places to carry on the business of the citizens here in the state of Georgia. Once again, I'm George Foster Ryan. This is the Ghetto Free Press, the voice of the people. While I'm over here, I will also try to find something out about the Justice League United, about a young black man that was sitting in his car. Allegedly, police officers pulled a gun on him for a seatbelt violation, or what he thought was a seatbelt violation, where I understand. But I'm going to get somebody to talk about that here in the city of Waycross. Once again, this is the Ghetto Free Press, doing what we do because, let's face it, somebody must do it. As you know, across the nation, blacks are being shot down by members of law enforcement for whatever reason. I also understand that Malik Shabazz of the new Black Panther Party are now underway in filing lawsuits across the nation to try to get a handle on the cold-blooded, justified killings or murders or accidents across the nation. This is the Ghetto Free Press, the voice, doing what we do because somebody must do it. Once again, Waycross City Hall is a beautiful building. They got a lot of information about the state of Georgia. They even got information about Plains, Georgia. But once again, in Waycross, Georgia, the mayor does have an office. He have a United States flag and a state of Georgia flag in his office for the good of all the active duty, retired military veterans, and common citizens here in the state of Georgia. And I believe it's a good thing to have. And I think Quitman, Georgia may also need to have office for the mayor to greet the people that come to that beautiful city, the city that I was born up in and graduated from Washington Street High School in 1970, the Ghetto Free Press.
Made mothers to be angels. You just might be looking at an angel right now. If you're in Los Angeles, California, Nashville, Tennessee, Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, Chicago,